Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good. I thought I was doing a cooking class. I guess Billy miscommunicated to me. So I'll keep the food in the car if you don't mind. First off, I'm extremely happy to be here, and I'm happy that Billy got me into this, and really, really excited. So who's been to the website, theinspiredseries.com? All right, so I looked at the website and I said, cool, I'm speaking with Adam Sandler. Doesn't Scott look like Adam Sandler on the website a little bit? In all seriousness, let's just take a moment and our thoughts and prayers go out to Japan. This is truly a tragedy that we're seeing unfold here, and just really, I really feel bad for what's happening there. So let's just take a moment and give some positive thought to them and some prayers to them. All right, so I know some of you here. Happy to see some of you, really happy, and a lot of new people that I don't know, so welcome, welcome. So basically I'm a restaurateur, but I'm a little bit more than a restaurateur. I kind of like have a little mission behind the scenes that a lot of people end up knowing because they find me on YouTube, they find me on my website, they read some of my stuff, they find me controversial, or they find me a fresh breath of air. Last night, another comment came on my YouTube channel, and the comment was, passion and mission with integrity. I wrote back to the person immediately, I said, wow, that sums it up. Passion and mission with integrity. He kind of forgot the profit part, which is a little important, so I added that in. Yeah, you can't do your passion forever without a little bit of profit happening. So let's see, I'm a professional chef. I've been cooking since I was 18. I'm 38 now, so 20 years I've been professionally cooking. And for me, I've been all over the world. I've worked in Europe. I've worked all over the country. And for me, I always thought being a successful restaurateur was serving a dinner, having a customer rave about it. Say, Marcus, I love this. I want to come back. Great, thank you. I'll take your money, thank you. But then I said, gee, there has to be more to it than just pleasing the person sitting at the table. Then all of a sudden I looked at the other side of the scenario. I looked at the farmer, the producer, the vendor, the salesperson, the relationships on the opposite side. And when I lived in Colorado, my wife was pregnant with our first child, Courtney. And I said, I'm really interested, or I'm really scared about the food I see. Because when you're working in big places, just boxes and boxes of the same food comes in. And it's mind-boggling, like you're serving a banquet for 1,000 people, day after day after day, and you're like, where in the world are all these pork tenderloins coming from? Where's all this filet mignon coming from? Where's it coming from? I don't see it being produced. I've driven across country several times, and just where's this consumption? Or where this production coming from? So my wife and I said, wow, this is pretty scary, bringing a child into the world. Let's do a little research on where our food comes from. So in Colorado, we decided to take a couple farm tours. Met a couple farmers that didn't eat their own food. Shocked. I said, what do you do? They go, we eat our neighbor. He grows organic, or he doesn't spray these chemicals on his food like we do. Potatoes. Found out potatoes early on, those Idaho potatoes we make French fries with, they spray neurological damaging chemicals on there. The farmers won't touch their fields, they won't go in their fields for 7 days after they spray. Even if they lose the irrigation, they'll risk their crop not to go in their field. I said, this is crazy. This is insane. This is what I'm serving? I said, I'm really like misleading customers. I'm really misleading myself, and I'm definitely not feeding this to my daughter, who's, you know, I was totally shocked. And you meet farmers that are so proud of their food. This is what we serve, and this is what we do. And so I got this passion, this mission to find out where my food was coming from. And it became a little obsessive, I think. Right, Jamie? A little bit. And from that point on, it just like sparked. And I was like, wow, I really have to like start like really working with producers. And through my work in Colorado, I had one farmer come to me after a couple of years and he goes, Marcus, you saved my marriage. I said, what do you mean? He goes, my wife thought this farm was useless. She didn't think I could make any money. But with your help, you've rounded up all these chefs, It's a viable business now, and just literally saved my marriage. My wife wanted to sell the farm and me go back in the tech world and move to Michigan. And I was like, wow, I did that? I had another farmer pull me aside, Jay Frost, who's read Fast Food Nation. Awesome book. His brother was one who hung himself on the farm because there was no hope. Jay Frost pulled me aside and said, Marcus, my 3 kids now have opportunity on this farm. He goes, I wanted to get them to college and get them off the farm and just not even have them come back to this farm. He goes, but now, through your help, through your organization of getting chefs together and building a market and awareness, I want my kids to come back. Sure, I want them to go to college, get an education, but I know that there's something for them here on the farm. You know, and a couple of years prior to that, his stepbrother hung himself because there was no hope, they thought. So I was like, wow, this is better than making a customer happy at the table. So this is really cool, you know? The relationships we're doing, the stuff that's happening. So now, to make a customer happy means to make everybody happy in the full circle. To understand where my food's coming from, to understand how it's being produced, and then putting it on the table. And making sure, now I never negotiate with a farmer. When a farmer comes to me, I never say, oh, that's too much money. It's my job to tell the farmer's story and charge accordingly. So I never negotiate with farmers. I mean, that's one policy I've always stuck to, because I know I don't like people negotiating with me. You know, my cost is my cost. I figured out my ratios. I figured out my overhead. I've done all that. The farmer's done all that. And when you don't have to hassle and negotiate with people, it just makes it so much easier. But as a chef, as a restaurateur, I have to now come up and say, hey, my salmon's $3 more, $4 more, or whatever, because it is XYZ. And it is, you know, from here, and it's, so that's where my videos come in. And I discovered YouTube, and YouTube is the #2 search engine right now. So if you own a business, if you want to express yourself, if you want anything to say, people will find you on YouTube. #2 search engine. It's phenomenal to get eyes. And don't worry about, you know, if you want to do videos, don't worry about, I have 400 videos up on 3 or 4 different channels. I actually do a staff training blog where I can communicate a little better with my staff and say, this is how you set a table, this is how you bust a table, this is how you answer the phone. So sort of kind of gap the communications to follow Skip there. It's a great way to communicate. So I do all these videos and I talk about my passion, and it's all unedited because it's me talking. It's just, you know, get a topic and just roll with it. It might be 3 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, it might be 20 minutes. I have a lot of fun doing this, and it's just amazing. So, you know, and Billy's been watching my videos, and he goes, "You got this passion I just want you to talk about and really talk to everybody about." And I said, "Awesome," because I have no problem talking. So, I actually had to make a cheat sheet to narrow down today. And my wife really here, she's like, you know, you don't have much time, right? Of course I know that. So, how do you find your passion? How do you discover your passion? Where is your passion? What is your passion? For me, it came when I lost my job. I was working for other people, unfortunately, and we moved back to Colorado. We moved back from Colorado to New York to be close to family. This family was a passion of mine, you know, and being in Colorado was no fun, having to fly out to the in-laws and have my parents fly back and forth. It just wasn't working. So we moved home, moved back to New York. And I got a great job in Westchester County, so I thought. And I worked there for 2 years, and miserable every day. And I got let go after 9/11. Country clubs were not doing good. They slashed membership. They hired new guys to come in and just slash costs everywhere. So they were able to replace me and a sous chef, 2 positions for what they were paying me. So I don't blame them. I would have done the same thing if I was like that. And as I get called in for an official management meeting beginning of the year, I knew it was going down. It was no secret, you know. Walk in, sat down, and got let go. And I said to them, I said, you know what? 6 months from now, I'm going to be thanking you. Don't know how I'm going to deal with it right at the present moment. Still digesting it. But let me tell you, 6 months from now, I'm going to be thanking you. Because I'll be doing what I want for me. And that's exactly what happened. From that point on, I said, I want to work for myself. I want to call the shots. I want to be the one who I have to answer to. That's exactly what I did. Now, I never took a job for money, except for that job. Proved to be a big mistake, or proved to be the best thing I could have ever done. As a cook, I always took a job based upon experience, experience, experience. I always tell other cooks that, young cooks, don't take a job for the money. You know, if you have to, it's a totally different thing, but if you're a young cook and you can travel and go anywhere and do things, that's exactly what I did. I worked for Pierre Kaufman at Montclair. He's the guy who trained Gordon Ramsay and Marco Pierre White. Had a phenomenal time there. I didn't want money from the guy, I just wanted to be in his kitchen. 6 months I worked for free. Cooked dinner for Princess Diana a month before she was killed that summer. The whole royal family came in to eat. It was awesome, awesome, awesome experience. I didn't want any money for it because the money, it was the experience I was after. So I always tell cooks, don't take a job for the money. Take a job for what you're going to get out of the job. I did great doing that. So, I did that for years upon years, and then when I finally took a job for the money, look what happened. It wasn't for me. So, that for me kind of realized what direction I had to go and how I could actually express myself. Now, a lot of jobs are much more lenient nowadays because, you can really express yourself much more with social media. And a lot of jobs actually want some employees to express themselves. I love when my employees can express what's happening at the restaurant through social media outlets. But of course, that's a whole other seminar, how to monitor that kind of stuff, because that can backfire on you. So let's see. Through all this, my health transformed drastically. When I first learned what real food was, from farms, unmanipulated, unadulterated food, I lost about 30, 40 pounds. I was going to the doctor on a regular basis for asthma, chronic acne, acid reflux so bad the medication wasn't working, they wanted to operate. I would sit up at night after I would take this medicine and I couldn't sleep. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, you name it. 27, 28 years old, I was either headed that direction or I was seeing the first signs of this stuff. My whole life I had asthma. I couldn't run a quarter of a mile to save my life. Once I got all the crap out of my diet, sugar, flour, the processed stuff, the bagged stuff, the packaged stuff, the fake food, the chemicals, 3 months, 30 pounds. Every medication gone. Cholesterol plummeted. Asthma spray, 27 years of my life, in my pocket every day I walked out of the house. Gone, finished, history. I now run half marathons with my 8-year-old. My 8-year-old's been running half marathons since he's 6 years old. Amazing, amazing athlete. No processed food. Good, clean food, pure food. So I said, this is amazing. This is how everything really manifested. Because when I started working for people, I was like, I'm killing my customers. Killing the customers that are walking in the door. This isn't fun. This really isn't fun because I know what food is doing now. I know how it's being produced. I know what it's doing to my physical body. I understand what's happening. And it was mind-blowing. And that's sort of the best thing ever of me losing my job, because now, every single day, I call the shots. I get to do what I want. I get to do the research. I spent a full day last week on calamari. Everybody loves calamari. Calamari's in so many restaurants across America, Italian restaurants, not even Italian, I mean, every restaurant. Like 90% of calamari comes from China. Caught in China, packaged in China, product of China. Do you know how many people want to avoid Chinese products? I'm not saying all Chinese products are bad, but if you had a choice, would you support American calamari or Chinese calamari? American. It would be a no-brainer. If you want to support American garlic or Chinese garlic, what would you support? American garlic. It's a no-brainer. If you go into Stop and Shop, they now have product of China, product of the US. The customer, through study after study after study, customers want American products. They'd rather avoid China. Not all Chinese products are bad, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of really uncertainty. One of the human needs, certainty. And there's a lot of uncertainty of the quality, the toxins, just everything that's coming out of China. So I spent a whole day researching where my calamari from. I called producer after producer after producer. The person we were using says they were American. And I said, well, gee, let me call them and make sure. And they confirmed not only were they American, but they also confirmed that they actually sent me a personal invite to come see their plant in full operation at Point Judith and actually go out with them and see what's actually going on. You know, so that's where I go above and beyond a lot of other chefs' restaurants. I really don't trust what the salesman says, what the company says. I like to see things firsthand myself. November, Jamie and I flew out to Colorado, 30,000 acres, we're on a grass-fed farm. Spent a couple days out there with Dale Lassiter on 30,000 acres, in the fields with the cattle. In the processing plant. We walked into the processing plant. Another word, processing plant is slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouses have gotten a lot of bad raps because of undercover videos of people going in and seeing what's happened. We get to the processing plant, we have a camera in our hand, the owner opens the door and says, come in. I'll show you whatever you want today. Now, there's a guy who's passionate about what he's doing. I said, can I take pictures? He goes, you can take pictures in a few places. I don't mind pictures. I said, really? He goes, come in and see what we're doing. And that's a guy who's like proud of what he's doing. Those are the kind of people that I try to do business with. I don't Patron tequila. It's a mass corporation. I switched out to a company called Siete Laguas. Siete Laguas was who had the Patron contract from 1990 to 2002. When Patron blew up and became a multinational company, distributed all over the world, the poor little Siete Laguas family, the distillery, could no longer support the production because they're the only distillery in Mexico still that uses mules to grind the agave. Everybody else is doing, you know, hydraulic, electronic stuff. They're still pulling the mules and grinding by stone. So they couldn't keep up with Patron. So I immediately switch, and I immediately get an email from the family. Please come down and see what we're doing. We're honored to have a restaurant that understands quality and determination and passion. I said, wow, Patron never sent me an invite. This is great. I have an invite to Kelp Cognac. Oliver Kelp sent me an email. You know, it's so much fun once you like get entangled in all this, you know, and you start meeting real producers, real food, real people. It's just breathtaking. Rolling Rock. We've all seen the Rolling Rock commercials, right? Brewed in Latrobe, right? Wrong. Budweiser bought them, shut the plant down. All Rolling Rock was produced in Newark, New Jersey, on an assembly line, from people who hate their jobs. People who hate the traffic to get to their jobs, people who hate public transport, people who hate their lunch hour, people who hate their boss. That's how Rolling Rock is produced now. Budweiser owns 80 brands. I refuse to participate. They own a lot of popular brands, 80 brands they control. I refuse to participate. I refuse to. You know, it's part of my morals, my passion. I want to know where my product's coming from. I want to just understand the whole concept. We were in Colorado. We drove 90 miles out of our way for our favorite brewery, just to go there and see it and do a video. 90 miles we drove out of our way. We're way out in Colorado Springs. We drove all the way north into Boulder, near Boulder, to go to our favorite brewery. Canceled our hotel reservations on the ride up. They were supposed to be staying that night. It's just, you know, it's a lot. My job is fun. I'm not going to lie. My job is fun. If I go out for lunch today, it's going to be work. But it's not going to feel like work. My job never feels like work. You know, Donald Trump says in one of his books, you know, he'll go play golf and he'll, you know, collect $1 million in membership fees. It's fun. It's fun to do that. You know, I get to go places. I get to do things. We went on a vacation in Napa Valley. So-called vacation. IRS doesn't know that. It's official work. And we come back, we do a promotion. Drink the wines Marcus and Jamie drank. I made my money back on this promotion. Paid for my Napa trip. And I was there officially doing work. I was going winery to winery, having a good time, meeting our producers, seeing what's happening. If you go on my wine list, 200 wines. Half of the wines have an asterisk next to them. Of people that I've met face-to-face, the owners of the winemakers I've met face-to-face, or places I've actually been on the actual winery. Sorry I haven't been to Spain yet, so there's a little gap in the Spain side of the list. But that's the fun part, getting to actually talk to the producers. Now, Screaming Eagle, big Cabernet, $900, $1,100 a bottle. Speak to the winemaker. Not that I'm going to buy the wine, but I like talking. Says to me, we're sustainable. I said, that's great. Sustainable's it, green's it, organic's it, eco's it. He goes, yeah, we're sustainable. So I start talking to him because I'm wary. I'm always wary of what sustainable means or organic means to people. Comes out, they're spraying Roundup on the vineyard. Now Roundup's a chemical you don't want to spray on anything. I said, how do you call that sustainable? He goes, well, yeah, we're sustaining our bank accounts. He goes, I can't afford to hire people to pick weeds. How else would you start my business to be sustainable? And I said, duh, I should have known that. I wasn't buying Screaming Eagle that day. I was actually looking at their second label, which is only about $400 a case. That I would have bought that day if I would have had a great conversation with the owner slash winemaker of Screaming Eagle, but it didn't go that well. So they were they were axed from the list. They never made it in the restaurant. So let's see. Kind of out of time. Like I said, I can talk all day. Let's see, as a gift. Now I'm on the spot here. Skip gave a gift. I have to give a gift. Skip, how much is yours worth? Like $500, $1,000? Do I have to outdo you, too? I have some staff members coming down handing out $15 gift certificates to Aroma Thyme Bistro. We're in Ellenville, where eco meets green. We are a green certified restaurant, one of the 3 in the Hudson Valley. The very first green certified restaurant from the Green Restaurant Association. And so email, if you want to go to my website, chefonamission.com, or the website on there, Aroma Thyme Bistro, sign up for my email. My emails are very educational. You can find all my YouTube stuff and all that through the emails. So thank you very much, everyone. It's a lot of fun. I will be around. I'm not going far.